This is the one. This explains our purpose on Earth if it's true. Y'all couldn't stop asking me about it, so here you go. Who are... I can't even say it. Who are the Anunnaki?
Alright, let's see it.
Simple terms, they're the true OG creation myth as recorded by the ancient Sumerians, who are widely regarded as the first ever civilization in history. Predating even the Egyptians, the Sumerians existed about 6,000 years ago. And in 1849, our whole understanding of ancient history was shattered when 14 tablets over 4,000 years old were uncovered in their region of Mesopotamia. Y'all ready for this one? Because these tablets pretty much explain our purpose on Earth in the most clear-cut way possible.
Yeah, they do absolutely no such thing whatsoever. There are actually multiple different accounts of the creation of humanity and civilization across the many different tablets that have been discovered in Sumerian and Akkadian from Mesopotamia since the 19th century.
This is the story of the Anunnaki, the Eridu Genesis.
So Eridu Genesis is the title first given by Thorkel Jacobson to a creation narrative that is known across 3 fragmentary tablets. 2 that date to about 1600 BCE and were written in Sumerian, found at Nippur and at Ur, and a 3rd bilingual tablet that is written in Sumerian and Akkadian that was discovered among Ashurbanipal's library in Nineveh that dates to around 600 BCE. And my Akkadian and my Sumerian are not great, but to my knowledge the word Anunnaki does not occur anywhere in any of our copies of Eridu Genesis.
So, 445,000 years ago, yes, I said that number correctly, supposed creator gods came to Earth in search of resources.
So this has absolutely nothing to do with the text that we know as Eridu Genesis or the text of any other creation account from ancient Mesopotamia. This creator is just repeating the narrative that was made up by Zecharia Sitchin for his 1976 book, The 12th Planet.
The Anunnaki, whose name can be taken to mean those from which heaven to earth came.
So not only is that nonsense English that doesn't mean anything, it's absolutely not what Anunnaki means. Anunnaki is an Akkadian transliteration of the Sumerian phrase that appears more frequently as Anuna and Anunnakene, and it just means princely offspring or the offspring of An.
They came from another world called Nibiru, one that visits Earth every 3,600 years, ruled by their king Anu.
Once again, this is just Zecharia Sitchin's made-up narrative.
Here's the first red flag. Another planet visiting ours this infrequently is impossible, right? Not according to NASA. In fact, they've been finding evidence of this planet for years. Except they call it Planet X, or Planet 9, and many top-ranking researchers analyzed data and pretty much all but confirmed its existence.
No, this is just one of multiple hypotheses to account for the orbits of what are known as extreme trans-Neptunian objects. And the hypothesized planet bears no relationship to the planet that was made up by Zecharia Sitchin. Nibiru is just a star in the Mesopotamian creation accounts.
Anyway, story goes on to say that living conditions on Nibiru deteriorated and became hostile. So the Anunnaki came down to Earth for some goods, specifically water and gold, which apparently helps restore their planet's health. Now, it might just be a coincidence, but gold is actually used in modern spacecraft to shield from radiation, so were the Sumerians aware of that? They established a base on Earth called Eridu, made for collecting these resources in the Persian Gulf. They send down Enki, Anu's son, to lead this expedition and rule over Eridu. With him, he brought the Igigi, another race of demigods who were essentially their slaves to gather the gold and water they needed. Now, the Igigi were down bad after 250,000 years of slave labor with little rewards, so they revolted but lost, and now the Anunnaki had no workers. So Anu orders Enki to create a new slave race, intelligent yet obedient. Enki combines his essence with a species of cave-dwelling savages that exist on Earth at this time. That would be Homo erectus, our prehistoric ancestors.
So again, this is an entirely fabricated narrative that takes the occasional detail from a variety of different ancient Mesopotamian creation accounts and mushes them together and pretends they're part of one single consistent narrative. This is just made up.
Through this process, he created humans, us, Homo sapiens. Now, this combining of essence is taken to be interpreted as genetic engineering. Sounds absolutely ridiculous, I know.
It is absolutely ridiculous.
But y'all remember Bob Lazar? The whistleblower on all that UFO, space tech, and aliens, which literally all turned out to be true?
No, it didn't.
Just listen to what he had to say about certain classified documents regarding genetic engineering.
Not interested in the conspiracy theories of a criminal who brought forth absolutely no evidence at all for any of his claims.
I don't know about you, but he clearly seemed genuinely uncomfortable talking about this, and I can't think of any reason he'd have to lie about it.
I can think of lots of reasons.
So in the tablets, they called this new species the first men, translated to Adamu. Now in Hebrew, Adam translates to man. So Adamu was taken to mean men of Adam. Does that name sound familiar to you?
This is all pure and utter nonsense. There is no such word in Sumerian or Akkadian that means the first men or men of Adam. Adamu is the name of a king who is listed on the Assyrian king list and has absolutely no relationship to the creation of the first humans, and it is just a personal name. It does not mean the first men or men of Adam.
Reminder that these tablets were dated to around 2400 BC, a whole 1,000 years before the book of Genesis was first said to be written.
None of these stories are that early.
Some Anunnaki got a little close with the humans and bred with them. Yes, that's exactly what you think it means, and gave birth to giants, even though they were specifically instructed to not procreate with them.
Now we're taking this made-up narrative and mashing it up with Genesis 6 to create this story where the B'nai Elohim, the children of God, are the Anunnaki, and they're having offspring with the daughters of humanity.
The translations claim that Enlil and his crew left in their celestial boats that took them to the sky and circled Earth. Hey, that sounds like spaceships, rockets, and orbits to me.
None of the texts say this.
But Enki felt more sympathy, so he instructed some chosen humans to build boats so they can survive the flood. Noah's Ark, anyone?
Yes, the story of Noah's Ark in the book of Genesis is likely rooted in these earlier Mesopotamian traditions, and that's about the closest this video gets to saying anything accurate or useful.
The flooding lasted for 7 days, yet another creation story told by almost every other culture of our past. There is countless proof of this intense flooding all around the world, but that's a rabbit hole for another time.
No, that'll just be another idiotic conspiracy theory supplemented with misrepresentation of the data.
A small number of humans that survived the flood started to rebuild civilization. Enki and other Anunnaki helped them rebuild in all corners of the earth, which is said to have given rise to the pyramids, megaliths, and advanced masonry techniques that we see all over the world. And eventually they left Earth and they had one civilization that was more advanced than the rest. This were the Sumerians. This exact story is even told in the Atrahasis of the Akkadians and the Enuma Elish from the Babylonians.
Akkadian is the name of a language, not the name of a people, and both Atrahasis and Enuma Elish come from the Babylonians and are written in Akkadian.
Oh, this is where it gets trippy.
So in the interest of time, I'm not going to share the rest of this video, but it does not get any better. And if you have not yet figured it out, this creator very clearly does not have the first clue what they're talking about, and they are just uncritically and blithely sharing whatever conspiracy theories they found online that they thought sounded cool. If you want an accurate and an informed discussion of ancient Mesopotamian creation accounts, W.G. Lambert's Babylonian Creation Myths from 2013 is excellent.